You're not right in this case, but you're allowed to be mad.
I mean, I could agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Nice steal on the line, Jim Cornette, but
not a steal. It's straight homage.
Homage.
If you acknowledge that you've stolen, it's an homage.
But
that's it.
Good. It's good short-term booking. It's good long-term booking. You just don't like the guy.
No, I just don't like terrible wrestlers.
Again,
I got nothing personal against Jey Uso.
I'm not saying the guy personally. I'm just saying the character. That's what you see. You just don't like that guy.
The talent. Yeah. No, I could never see him again. It'd be too soon.
Right. But in 2 months, you won't have to see him in any meaningful capacity again. Anyways, hey everybody.
Oh,
it's Tuesday night. It's must be time for What's on Joe Mind. Thanks so much for tuning in through the end of an excessively long WCW Thunder. But we're here on the Superstation and ready to go. As Mark and I discuss the finer points of the last night's booking to WWE Raw. But Cutthroat Comics has the right idea. Mark Weber is great. Give it up for Mark Weber. You'll have your chance in a minute. But first, you got to watch our kick-ass opening sequence. And stay till the end. There's a special secret.
Ooh.
Everybody, it's Tuesday night. It's 9:05. It's time for What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. And sometimes we slide right into pro wrestling talk, but whatever. We don't do that for real. Anyways, I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing?
Oh, I'm still mad.
You okay? Everybody, again, a 26-year-old wrestler lost a match. Professional wrestler. It's all predetermined.
That makes it worse.
It doesn't, because he's got 20 more years of career. We'll be fine. We'll all be okay.
No, because they chose to make it happen.
It's okay. It's still okay.
Telling you.
It's still all right. It's still all right. He's not my favorite guy either, but it's okay. It's okay. No Yeating in the top right. He is the former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe brand at Hasbro. Current operations manager at Voliverse. It's the Hot Show, Mark Weber.
Jesus, and if I haven't been buried in last Friday's warehouse sale bits, including answering emails like, has my order shipped yet?
Did you get an email saying it did? Then no.
Shipping confirmation emails, right? Or trying as calmly and as nicely as I can to explain that that item did not disappear from your cart, right? Like, there were only 100 of them. It's a warehouse find, right? It doesn't get taken out of stock when you put it in your cart, because lots of times carts don't progress to orders, right? So when an order is completed, then it's taken out of inventory. So when there's only like 100 of something and there's 1,000 or more people online at the same time and they're all after it, it's in a lot of carts when they get down to the last 5 or 6. And most of the people with them in their carts had it disappear. It's just first come, first serve on limited items.
Right.
So I'm sorry. I understand the frustration because I have been there, right? But it's nothing nefarious. It's just first come, first serve. And there is some kind of equitable fairness about that. So,
right. Look, it's the basis of our entire economy.
Yeah. So there you go. If you don't have your mystery box yet, you will have it soon. I promise.
In the bottom right, with far less customer service nightmares to report, It's the man of 1,000 long boxes. It's Rack Time Rob.
You remember what I did for a while, right? I have many customer service nightmare stories.
I just mean in the last week.
Oh no! if you consider parents' calls as kind of customer service, no, not even there.
Oh, I'm still gonna guess that Mark had a worse week. I'm around when you're
wasn't bad, just busy.
I'm around when your phone rings, man. Mark has to deal with toy collecting man babies. I think he's just got quantity. That's hello to Agent Chuckles. And hello to the bottom left. He's back after a couple of months of us not calling him. Because frankly, we didn't want to.
I got sick of me too. It's fine.
From articulated points, it's Biff McConkie Donk himself, Phil Donnelly, on the program tonight.
Hello.
We just again, so people were starting to ask Phil, and there was no reason why we didn't have you in. But I mean, did we not provide enough guests over the last 2.5 months to satisfy these people's terrible urges? I thought we did.
Far be it from me to deny what the public wants, but it's nice having a revolving fourth chair that actually revolves.
Right. We get all of our pals in. They were all pitching stuff at Joe Fest. They're all pitching stuff at Assembly Required. We other projects going on. I mean, we got a lot going on. Rob can't get sick all the time. Frankly, if yesterday was indication, I thought I was the one who was going to be sick this week, but we're going to have to struggle through because I went and posted that I found those Super 7s, and what we got in went from the segment we normally cut to the main event this week. So
the entire show.
Right? It's funny how that happens, but we will get to that point. Steve Young, two-time two-time first team NFL All-Pro quarterback, asked for you at Disneyland again. And yes, the bookshelf with all the creepy Baroness figures is actually just an image.
Don't be ridiculous. I was at Disneyland yesterday.
There you go. That'd be cool if we found out that Phil's very intricate shelving unit was actually a backpack that he just walks around with, so he can be a mobile uplink unit from Mr. Toad's Wild Morphine Ride.
He's got wheels on it. He just kind of skates it along.
Right.
I got a furniture pallet.
I just ignore all the looks from security.
And the Snow White Finding Nemo crossover ride, the mine train, awesome. Yeah.
How do you get all that stuff to stay on there when you're on Space Mountain, Phil?
Well, you see, we're an area that's very prone to earthquakes, so we got a good putty that we know about.
All right.
I don't think it's a shelf. I think it's a picture. I think that's a frame. It's 2-dimensional, which is brilliant.
What,
just nails all their feet into place.
I told you.
It's actually Phil's Hall of Action Figures, a new attraction right next to the Hall of Presidents.
Mm-hmm.
We've had no visitors today.
Much like the Hall of Presidents. Oh,
this audio animatronic Lincoln called you a dork.
Just for that, I'm going to pull his pants down and show got nothing underneath.
Nah, just give him theater tickets.
Our American cousin, right?
Too soon?
Make him short out. Anyhow. Yeah, so pretty slow week in the world of G.I. Joe. And of course, like the biggest news item of the week actually dropped today because screw all of you. All of you.
Ain't no news like Tuesday news.
Especially, I got put through the ringer at work today, so it was especially fun times. But thankfully, it was just a one screen cap kind of news item. So we'll get to that when it comes up. But first, we're going to take a trip over to the wall and take a look at our community calendar. They're brought to you today by Roma Collectibles. Note the updated store times on the card there. Open Wednesday to Sunday, 12 to 5. Closed Monday and Tuesday. Those are their watching What's on Joe Mind days. They're located out in Springfield, Ohio, where nothing out of the ordinary is happening. Past the senator of Ohio selling out his own people. But do not approach Aaron and Mary Mercenary there. They will attack without warning. They're just jumpy. It's been a rough couple of weeks as we continue to wish Mr. Roma well in his fight against cancer. And what we got, Mark's got Ginger Delights. Oh well.
Yes, I will share.
No, you won't.
Only with our friends at Roma Collectibles. Wow, put me in soft
they've
focus,
been invaded by zombie hordes, and the dogs and cats are starting to fight back.
The Ginger Delights ruined my focus. Holy smokes. Looks like I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
Right. Well, I mean, the address is up there, so I expect I expect you to send off that box of Ginger Delights out to Upper Valley Pike in Springfield, Ohio.
Hold on, let me touch up my appearance.
Nope,
yeah, that's
still
even
blurry.
better. Yeah, that's kind of rough.
This is just how you look now. It's actually in focus.
Yeah.
Your camera's doing some weird things these last couple of weeks, Mark.
I think I got the lighting better though, but yeah, now I'm not even in focus. Oh,
ooh, hey.
Power.
The magic touch.
It's I mean, just threaten it next time. Just tell them, hey, I'm heading over to Staples. You know, got to check out and see what they got in stock there. Maybe I'll get myself
I'm podcast Fonzie.
Hey.
Sit on it, Potsy.
Sit on it, Weber.
Potsy Weber, actually. Yeah.
Oh God.
But with two B's, I think.
Was it? That bastard.
He deserves to sit on it. This
That's
weekend's Joe Lana. That's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia. I would say if you haven't made travel plans by now, you're probably a little late, but you can always get on that at joelana.org. They still do have three-day passes available. Not one of those hard count attendance limits on this show. They expect people to kind of go in and go out. But you get all the happenings and the hootenannies, joelana.org.
I like that Hooded Cobra Commander is more gung-ho about the show than anyone else. You should totally go! And then old school Cobra Commander is like, man, if you have the time.
If you got a free weekend.
Phil, are you traveling cross country for this one?
Not exactly in the gas budget right now. You know how it is. California is just really expensive per gallon.
I mean, they do offer air travel into Atlanta, Phil. It is something of a hub.
Major hub.
Yeah, but then, you have to pay fuel for the plane. It's just even more expensive.
Because it is the hub, nobody can find it.
It was taken off cable 10 years ago.
That's right.
Only 10?
Yeah, right. Go see Bobby. Valaverse will be there with all your fabulous Elite Praetorian needs. And
pink cars.
Yeah, pink Vanguards.
Right? Pink Vanguards are there's the opportunity to win one, or the opportunity to win the opportunity to purchase one. How's that?
Did Bobby get the Mary Kay contract?
The Bobby is doing some pink figures and vehicles. The figures themselves are to raise money for breast cancer research, and the Vanguards are like, we only made like 50 pink ones, so he's kind of feeding them out slow. There's actually a wheel at the booth. If you spend X amount of dollars, you can spin the wheel and you got a shot. But the thing the fans are excited about, the reissues of Trigger and the cavalry figure, are available for the first time here. They'll be available in greater numbers come probably early November, but we got a couple cases air shipped in, so they'll be available at Joe Lanta. So go see the Valaverse booth. Tell him Webb sent you.
That's at the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth this weekend. Get there early. Go in often. Also,
Lone Dragon's taking a shot, I think.
I don't even have the comments up. Hang on.
Sure. And Bart's got a bad idea.
Asking, so he was only trying to make a small amount of money for breast cancer.
Where's that come from? I don't even follow, unless it's just a straight shot. Yeah. Yeah. Explain yourself. You're not making sense, Lone Dragon. And Bart.
Sure. Do you get a discount for hugging Bobby? I wouldn't recommend it.
Not near as I can tell, outside of family members, not really a hugger.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't recommend that.
Bobby and I go way, way back, and we're simpatico, and I think a high five or a fist bump is probably the extent of it. So,
not a big full contact kind of guy. There's not as much comedy there.
I mean,
hugging a Bobby Vala.
He'll go full contact, but it might be foot to face.
Right. That's not really full contact. That's still very minimal contact.
Oh, all right. So Lone Dragon.
It's very forceful content.
Lone Dragon's qualifying it, and now I understand.
Gotcha. And
no,
made more money if he sold more than 50. Well,
the limited Vanguards are not what's raising money for breast cancer. The pink Steel Brigade figures are, and there's going to be a lot of them to raise significant funds for breast cancer awareness and research. So there you go. Now we understand each other. Got it.
And the problem with making more than 50 pink Vanguards is you have to sell more than 50 pink Vanguards.
Yeah.
Which, you know, there's only so many folks that have the time, space, and dollars for that kind of comedy.
There you go.
Then you just make a warrior kit for a Barbie to go with it.
Right. Or Ken. Either way.
Anyways, also this weekend on Sunday, it's Toyman happening outside St. Louis, Missouri in the Machinist Hall in Bridgeton, out by the airport, where Phil could fly into town if he so wanted to. But he doesn't want to because he doesn't care. But that's happening from 9 to 2. $5 gets you in the door. $15 gets you in for early bird. That's an extra hour, and that's when all the deals happen, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Kids 12 and under are plentiful and therefore free. Again, if you hug Dave Draper and send us a picture, we will get you something out of the What's on Joe Mind prize vault. No question. Got to be consensual, though.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want any pictures of Dave Draper chasing you down or you being arrested for assaulting Dave Draper. No, none of that. It's got to be consensual.
Or the prize might be an old receipt from the 7-Eleven from 1992 that you found in the garage.
No. We have actual prizes in the prize vault.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, we're sponsored by Kokomo Toys. They supply us with these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually prizes because we saved that Slurpee.
That's true. Hug Dave Draper now before he's named the new Cardinals manager, and he's all big time on you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think making it worse is that Dave Draper is a Cubs fan.
Ooh.
So that would make it.
He's a Cubs fan in St. Louis?
Well, Dave is from Illinois. He's from Springfield. He makes it about a 2-hour drive down.
Oh, okay.
To Toyman every week.
Okay, I'm just saying that would be a long time to live behind enemy lines, right? Like, come on.
He is very much in that neutral ground. Sir Neidhart, if the prize vault is a Marauder's barbecue, no thank you. No, I can promise you it is not a Marauder's barbecue.
That's mine, baby.
Yeah, those are all at Weber's place. We don't keep those in the prize vault because Weber's got them all.
And mine's a gift from Gunny. It's not going anywhere.
The other 13, however, he may part with. But
we can talk.
We'll get a segment going.
I opened 5 of them, Mike, this week, and I'm trying to train them to form Voltron, and it just ain't happening
at
all.
I told you that wasn't going to go well, no matter how many rubber bands you used.
I thought they were robots. Not really my fault.
Yeah, I warned you about that one, man.
I'm toying with the idea of putting an arcade head on one of them. Because he is a redhead, right? And the arcade head is just so over the top phenomenal that
the neutral or the crazy eyes?
The crazy eyes, man. Why go neutral?
Because they have long hair.
Yeah, it's a good look. All that red.
They on the old Sunbow cartoon, there were some episodes where he was a redhead, and some other ones where they had him with blonde hair. They couldn't quite make up their mind.
No, arcade the blonde don't.
But he was annoying in all of them.
Oh, barbecue. You're talking about barbecue. They're talking about
arcade.
Oh yeah,
the G.I. Joe cartoon.
Yeah, no.
And he had his Bostonian accent there.
No,
right.
This fella says he's the Viper.
Certainly, Duke is Duke. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns. Yeah.
How about some Milano cookies?
So it's just Phil and I doing the show.
And we know how long that'll last.
No,
30 seconds before I get
you banned Rob too. I know what it's like to accidentally ban Rob.
Somehow I double clicked on Rob. That's my bad. That's my fault.
Does that
that's
mean
the second time that Rob has been banned?
Does that mean Rob's got to get out of jail free card? He can commit a bannable offense and survive one time?
No, it just means I got a crummy mouse that I got to replace.
That's fair. I'll trade you my camera for your mouse.
I don't think that's a trade that benefits either of us.
Probably not.
No, that's a bad trade for both sides.
But you'd finally be able to do that Great Ape cosplay.
But anyways, Toy Man happening Sunday, September 29. Be there or be square. Like Phil.
Hey.
Next up, we got some of those Florida toy shows and expos. First one is happening again Sunday, the 29th. That is the Jacksonville Collector Fest out at the Embassy Suites in Jacksonville, Florida. Followed by the following Saturday, October 5, we got the Kissimmee Collector Fest out in the Osceola Heritage Park in Kissimmee, and then the South Florida Collector Fest on October 13. Back to Sundays, where we're all a little bit more comfortable, at the American Polish Club in Green Acres, Florida. All shows are $10 to get in. Kids 12 and under, again, plentiful, so just take one. They're free. They are open from 9 to 4. Parking and other details, check the Facebook event pages or check out floridatoyshows.com. I always love the story of the Houston Astros AA baseball team used to be in Kissimmee. And they had to change the name. They were called for a long time the Kissimmee Astros because it didn't look quite right.
Yeah.
So those cowards changed it to Osceola County.
Cowards.
Bart asks, but I'm not Polish. Can I still go? You can go. You just can't hang around. You're not allowed in the club per se as a member, but you're allowed in as part of South Florida Collector Fest.
I don't some kielbasa.
Right. I don't, again, not trying to offend anybody here, but have we checked and made sure it's not a Polish club?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because there might be people there with like lots of big time chrome hubcaps and tubas and.
I mean, really, I'm going to guess that they don't bust
Games
out
of
that
Blacko.
23andMe membership fee on you. I think so long as you paid your dues at the American Polish Club, they'll let you in.
All right.
But
It's actually just a bunch of bald men who stuck their heads in the Balo Shino.
I'll be there soon. I'm on my way. Save me a seat.
hey, Homer, you've been polishing your head in the Balo Shino again. No. Okay.
All right, then.
Oh, Barney's Bolorama, one of the great ones. Dustin Jeffrey notes that the South Florida Collector Fest is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me.
Dun.
Sorry, I love you, but I prefer Fifth Avenue.
We kind of figured. I don't know if we're really a farm living kind of podcast, really. I think we're a bunch of city boys by and large.
Fair.
Or at least suburbs.
Yeah, it's probably more accurate.
But so again, if you are anywhere around the Sunshine State, keep your calendar clear because you got a few busy weekends coming up. Get yourself out and check out these fine shows. For more information, again, FloridaToyShows.com. And then, of course, because not enough is happening this weekend. The Knights Hall Comic and Toy Show happened in Livonia, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. $3 gets you in. They're open 10 to 4. Kids 12 and under are free. They're practically crawling up the walls. Knights Hall Comic and Toy Show.com has all the details. Although this isn't one of those real big kind of shows, so I don't know how many more details you're really going to get. You're just going to get site maps and dates, really. But still, it's there for you if you need it. I went to the one in Indy. It's a good little show, really. It's one bad. They go out of their way to make sure they fill up the old KSC there. Which Knights of Columbus Hall is that again, Rob?
St. Mickey's.
That's right, St. Mickey's. Andrew Gaugan definitely feels like this is an early going off the rails moment. I mean, kind of. How did we start that close to the rails?
There are rails?
We'll get there.
Joe Fan 84 says, I did an unboxing video. I had to rush so I could catch what's on Joe Mind. I plugged the damn show too. Good, you'd better. So help me.
That's a good person right there.
That's right. Joe Fan 84 helping us out.
Preaching the gospel, sharing the truth.
But and of course, because one's happening in Detroit, that means we're never far away from one happening in Indianapolis. That's the next week on October 6th. Also from 10 to 4, $3 gets you in. Kids 12 and under are free. And still more details at Knights Hall Comic and Toy Show.com. I'll be there for a few minutes at least. Promise.
And you don't even need to wear full armor.
No. I was able to walk right in. Unfortunately, no Renaissance Fair type turkey legs.
No,
which would have been a plus. I was pretty hungry last time I went, but
Well, you just got to hunt your own.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I mean, it's just a couple miles down the road.
Turkeys running around 71st and Keystone.
Yeah, if they're gonna throw a toy and comic show that's mere blocks away, I kind of got to go to that one. Bart asks, discounts for Hugging Mike? No. I'm full price, baby.
Yeah. Half off? We'll see. Mm-hmm.
Which half?
This thing reads like a Stefan bit on Saturday Night Live, right? Like Indy's hottest comic and toy show is Knights Hall. It has everything: freaks, geeks, human fire hydrants, Jocko, Meng, MTV's Dan Cortez.
Nobody can find MTV's Dan Cortez. Come on now.
It's gonna be a good show.
And of course, Sidney Applebaum.
Right.
The Jewish vampire, Sidney Applebaum.
The only one I remember was there was one show where they must have popped it on him, where he had MTV's Dan Cortez in two different clubs. So he had already dropped it earlier, and then it came up like two clubs later, and he went MTV's, and he couldn't get it out. It was fantastic. Makes me think they dropped it in on the prompter, right? Like it wasn't.
They normally did that to him. Yes,
that was so good. I love
on
that.
Those skits. They would throw random crap on there.
That was the writing staff's attempts to break Bill Hader, which was not the hardest thing to do.
mean, not that
but
hard,
it usually
right?
happened in feeding stuff into the teleprompter when he was
Great
playing
bit.
fun. Josiah Alcorn says, "Wow, I bet no one had MTV's Dan Cortez on their What's on Joe Mind bingo card, and yet somehow he never really feels like he's that far away."
Not to mention Meng and was it Jacko or Jocko, the Energizer
Jocko.
guy? Jocko. Who
There
was
was
like-
there was a Jacko, but it wasn't
I
the
do
Energizer.
feel like the obscure SNL reference is probably in the free space. So
That's probably
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh, Lindsay. Get your cookie.
So the indie version, October 6th. The Detroit version, of course, this Sunday. Indie version, Detroit version, indie version, Detroit version.
Yeah.
Indie version. There we go.
To keep them clear, the Young Bucks will be at the indie version. Yeah.
Damn it.
young is relative.
Ah,
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we ain't going now.
Yeah, right.
Night's Comic and Toy Show.com.
Rob, you
News
don't
of the day
you-
scare us.
Rob, you don't like wrestling. You should go meet the Young Bucks.
They don't
See,
like
Rob-
it either.
Rob likes to paint that picture, but Rob likes wrestling enough.
He's in. He didn't like Raw though.
I didn't watch Raw.
Sheamus was in. So he'd have been all right. But he really didn't watch. Rob's been a little under the weather this week too, so he went to bed early.
Sheamus is both whiter and
I mean, we're all
redder than
under the
me,
weather.
So
No one was getting a ladder thrown at their head like a javelin. So
See, more public ups for Jey Uso there. He's good at taking ladders to the face.
when
That is a
thrown by
skill.
oversized Scotsman.
he's the Uso that drives sober, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's why you keep seeing him on TV.
Right?
He's not in jail.
No, it's easy to tell them apart because of that, right? Because otherwise, same moveset, literal twins. Like I'm glad one of them is a public menace, so we can tell them apart.
Public.
Well, he doesn't. I think he doesn't dye his hair. Like Jey Uso always does something with the front of his hair,
Okay.
and that's the easy way to tell now. So there's
Plus,
a little bit of.
He puts that gray in his beard now, so that's good.
Plus, he's Yeet. The other guy is no Yeet.
Yeah. The other guy has no job, I'm pretty sure, but okay.
He's out there. He's out there somewhere. I was fully expecting him to come in and gank things up last night, to be honest, but didn't happen.
No, it was ganked up on its own.
Oh, see, incorrect.
That's right. Hey, Justin Jeffrey's got a good point while we're on the Sheamus bandwagon for a second.
Dustin Jeffrey with the comment, Sheamus was the Titans' 12th man this week. At this point, he might be their actual 12th fan. Yeah,
Right.
possibly.
That there's no connection there, right? He's legit from Ireland.
Yeah.
So he's the 12th fan in Tennessee. He doesn't even live in Tennessee, I don't think.
I don't think so either. No.
So
Hey, they wrote the check.
Right.
Yes.
They paid the appearance fee. That's why Seth Rollins showed up in Indianapolis this weekend.
I don't have any problem with him doing it.
Right.
There's no link there whatsoever, right? They should have got Jocko or Meng or MTV's Dan. No, he's a Steeler fan.
He's a Steelers guy. Yeah.
We're MTV stand Cortez.
Dustin Jeffrey throws in that Sheamus does live in Nashville. So
He does. Okay, I take it all back.
All right.
Of course,
All right.
that would make sense, right? He probably just fits in there with his
Sure.
people in Nashville.
Right. I mean, Little Dublin in downtown Nashville is a hotspot,
Right.
Funny thing. That's
just like in Tampa.
in Giant Size X-Men #1, that's where Professor X finds Banshee.
In Nashville? Is he singing?
In a theater.
He's at the Grand Ole Opry. He's not singing, he's in the audience.
He's just taking it in.
That's a bucket list item for me. As big an X-Men fan as I have, never, ever, ever owned that issue. And now it's probably beyond me, but whatever.
They put out a repro with like a year ago.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't need a repro. I can read it anytime, right?
But it has like all the ads in it too. It's kind of fun.
So I can get my sea monkeys.
I bought it. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm never gonna afford an actual giant size. The facsimile edition it is.
I
I
suppose
just
as
bought
a,
a price guide. I'm looking it up for you, Mark.
as a placeholder, it's probably a good idea.
Next up is the North Dallas Toy Show. That is also happening the following weekend. That's on Saturday, October 5. That is at the Celebration Event Center in Plano. So I guess it's the North of Dallas Toy Show, but whatever. $3 gets you in the door. 9 to 2, they're open. They have more information available on their Facebook page. They used to have a website. It's not there anymore. But the Facebook pages are there. So I guess they just decided to quit paying for a website.
Man.
That's fine.
Mark, good news.
Yeah.
You could probably afford that giant size X-Men #1. It's only $6,000.
Oh, not happening. Nope.
Or you can get the repro for $6.
Right. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Sudden on the spot question. If you had to lose 2 of those logos forever, which should you get rid of?
Funko and Funko.
Fair enough. Phil.
Funko and Pokemon, because I just never got into Pokemon.
Rob.
I'm with Phil.
They're both out. Bulbasaur is the greatest.
Just like that, huh?
Yep.
Jeez. And I was careful with this, Mike. I was gonna say Turtles and Pokemon, but I will update that to Turtles and Funko. Just so I can hang around.
You just bowed to pressure, sir.
Peer pressure, baby. It's a real thing.
Watch him bend the knee.
I'm going to say Funko and Star Wars just to start a fight.
Right.
You don't even believe yourself.
It's like Star Wars and Marvel are having a staring contest to see who can put out the worst content for the longest time.
We can get rid of Funko and Hot Wheels just to get rid of those annoying guys who have to harass all the poor Target employees as they're opening the store every day.
Oh, hey, I used to have a blast with those guys. Just continually saying no. It was a joy for me. I loved it. You got to buy what's on the shelf, man. Yeah, but the one I want isn't on the shelf. You got to buy what's on the shelf, man.
Yeah.
See, this is back in the day before Pop Finder, so there was one DPCI code for every Hot Wheels car. God only knows what we had in the back, and I'm certainly not letting those sweaty weirdos back there to sift through and destroy my back room. So
it's the same cars you have up front, but the hubcaps are different.
Mike, did you ever say, boy, we had a bunch of different ones here yesterday?
But kids bought them. Probably opened them too.
It's like the one I just took home to my nephew. Anyways,
He likes to put them in his mouth.
Jason Reed says he traveled to Plano once for work. Their water was terrible. You could even taste the fountain drinks. Yeah, that's how that goes, man.
That's rough.
That's part of why fountain drinks kind of suck in the Indianapolis area, because our water sucks.
Oh.
Fountain drinks in St. Louis, it's like peed by God himself. Delicious.
Ugh.
That's maybe not the best
No.
simile, but whatever.
It's not.
That's God's tinkle water right there. That's a good stuff.
Phil, was that the chair squeaking or was that your back?
Yes.
It was my back against the chair.
Oh, fair enough.
There
he goes.
Him covering up for having gas.
There it is. His chair sounds like my back feels. Yeah.
Hey, that's it for community calendar.
Just like that.
Remember, we'll have as much community calendar as you send us, because community calendar is all about the community. So unless you want to keep hearing all about shows in Central Indiana, tell me all about the shows in your area that you want us to plug. That's the email to send it all to. What's on Joe Mind at gmail.com. That's the email to send everything you've got for the show, whether it's shows for community calendar, whether it's customs you want to share along, letters you need answered, letters or questions you need answered, all kinds of stuff. If you guys want it to be on here, we'll get it on here. We are a community show first and foremost. We are a fan cast, as we say in the opening sequence. We're not here to rattle our own horns. Frankly, we're not that interesting. But if you think we're interesting, be sure to do all those cool YouTube things for us. You know, down in the middle part there, we got a like button for the video and a subscribe button for the channel. Make sure you're hitting both of those. If you're on Facebook, give us some kind of a reaction. Give us a heart. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy. It's interaction that makes this thing go. So as much as you interact with us, that's really going to dictate the growth of this channel. It doesn't count when I do it. All social media is for us.
We tried that.
Right. All social media does for us, the more active we get, the more they hide us behind our own paywalls. So we really need you guys to help spread the word and help this thing grow. We've seen a little bit of a sign of life this week as we've picked up slowly and surely a couple of new subscribers. So if you are part of the 30% of folks watching this video that are not subscribed, shame on you. Hit the button.
Yeah.
The algorithm, right? The algorithm already knows you're here. It's already going to recommend us to you for the rest of your life. So you might as well just click the button. It's free.
Remember,
it doesn't take a lot of time.
Mike is not above flattery and brown nosing rewarding that.
And if you really like us, we do have a coffee account. The link is down below. We did add a coffee subscriber last week. He is John C., our White Castle sous chef. So we're up to 22. If you want to join that horde of people who need a better reason to spend their money, but we're happy that they chose this one.
Yeah.
It's right there. We don't have a whole lot of benefits. We're not into the whole hiding content behind our own paywall, but it does get your name in the closing credits as one of our backers. And there too, be sure to share us in all of your Facebook groups and your Reddit groups and all that other cool stuff too. Because again, the more eyeballs that we get in front of, the more everything's gonna start to look a little better.
Except my camera.
Except Mark's camera.
Yeah.
We should call it the Get Mark a New Camera Fund.
Which we're just going to continue to, which we're just going to leave with him, just for shits and grins, really.
The lighting is better this week, though, a little bit.
It is.
I figured something out.
You're not quite as blue.
Less blue. The eyes, though, still piercing blue. What can you do? Did you know 2% of the world has red hair, and 1/6% of the world, 1/6 of the world has blue eyes. So if you find a redhead with blue eyes, it's a friggin' unicorn, baby. Just saying. Tasty. Let me do that math.
Lone Dragon asking, what email address do I send penis pictures to again? That is phil@articulatedpoints.com.
That's right.
That's definitely an email box we have.
Right.
And you spell Phil Patrick.
It's Phil FILL at.
It's F followed by a BI and
Tim Peterson says, consider me a unicorn then.
High five.
There you go.
Yeah.
Everybody just pause for just a second so that Tim may high five the honcho.
Outstanding. Tim and I can form a tag team and be very successful. And then become bad singles wrestlers, and one of us will be rewarded.
and the other will be a public menace.
That's it.
There you go. Who gets to be the public menace?
Or you could be the Killer Bees.
Oof, yeah.
Two guys that kind of vaguely looked like one another, so they got paired together as the Killer Bees.
And had a hell of a run as the third most interesting face tag team at the time.
The Jobber face team, right? Of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. I remember watching the Bees was just sitting around waiting for that drop kick, right? They had one move that was exciting. Brunzell could drop kick a 9-foot person if he wanted to. And was like, yeah, wake me up when Brunzell throws a guy into the ropes.
Right. He was good at bumping all over the place. I think it was the fact that he was so good at his job was probably to his great detriment.
It's probably true.
Firefly asks, successful like Rhythm and Blues or successful like Power and Glory? That's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
I kind of liked Power and Glory. It felt like they had upside, whereas Rhythm and Blues were clearly on the way down.
I mean, that was just all about the absurdity of the Honky Tonk Man being paired by Greg Valentine and the world's worst black dye job.
Right? I love that Valentine had been fake blonde for like 20 years, and they're just like, nah, we're going to go with like black hole.
You know, Greg, if you dyed it black, you'd look kind of like a crummy Elvis impersonator. We have one of those.
Yeah.
We have one of
And you know, Greg Valentine at that point was in whatever, dude.
Yeah,
mode,
he was.
right?
He was
like,
clearly he was.
whatever, dude.
He loved that tag team. Apparently, he was all for it. It got him a run with the belts. He ain't upset.
Did they win the titles?
I think they did once.
Oh man!
Same as I think Power and Glory did once as well.
And the Rockers never did.
Shut out.
Mm.
It's all about when you hit it, man. It's all about when you hit it.
I might have thrown Jannetty through that window too. Come to think of it. Yeah.
I mean, seeing how he turned out at the end, yeah, it was probably worth it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I don't think the window did that damage.
It's time for the news.
And that's it for the news.
So bad today, guys. I'm sorry. I'm closing some windows right now. There we go. Just stop. This thing cannot. We are stretched to capacity.
All right, take 5, everybody. Smoke them if you got them.
No more
Sweet
watching
Jesus.
your stock portfolio live during the show, Mike.
Right. Such as it is.
Yeah.
I think with Robinhood, I think I have $20 of Coca-Cola stock.
There you go.
That's what I signed up so that Kokomo Toys own Todd Jordan would get a bonus.
Okay.
And
I told you not to invest in Enron.
I didn't. I told you it was $20 in Coca-Cola.
That's the Enron of soft drinks.
It's gone up 10% in the month I've had it. So clearly they were waiting for me.
They knew what was up.
Good.
That's
I
what
actually
we
have
call.
some Coke stock. I should see.
Yeah, that's the What's on Joe Mind rub, baby. Yeah.
First news item.
Do.
Hey, it's our Tuesday news drop. Jeff Butler advises that Power and Glory did not win the titles, but should have. Well, that we can debate, but clearly they did not. I trust your judgment, old timey Jeff Butler.
They had some bitchin' sunglasses, though. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
But the folks over at the HasLab Products Studios, sent out a cool email this afternoon. The time is almost here. Our teams are prepping to start shipping the G.I. Joe Classified Series Assault Helicopter Dragonfly XH1 HasLab to all of you. Before we do that, we want to make sure that we have the correct shipping address listed on your order and give you a chance to make any necessary changes before it heads your way. You have until the end of the day on Thursday, October 24, to update your shipping address through Hasbro Pulse. Incorrect shipping information could impact the receipt of your item. Don't let it happen to you.
Right.
So, yeah, that puts a very definite start to the shipping window on this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're closing that off on 24th, I would say probably shipping at the end of the month.
Bart popped me. I didn't see that coming.
Mark, did my Dragonfly ship yet? Well, we'll have to send him an email. So,
yes, but there's no Glenda in it.
Send that off to mark@voliverse.com.
Yeah.
Well, it's for the best. Glenda killed that project.
Yeah, right.
Voliverse.com/helicopters.
What do you think those Glendas are going to go for on eBay once they're in hand?
Well, I mean, if you get the Scarlet and the Quarrel, then you need the third.
Yeah.
Right. She did totally kill the line after all.
I'll be curious to see what that's like solo on eBay.
It won't be an embarrassing number because there's not going to be many of them.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I think it'll be substantial, right? Hard to find.
Higher than
So-
what the doomsayers were saying.
I'm just saying. I don't think that's going to be a $35 auction, right? I think Glenda's going to have some. I mean, they'll all have some pull, but Glenda will, and that's the one people kind of pooped on. But that was in the pre-patches era.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, if you are in on the HasLab Dragonfly, good news. Could be a very, very fine fall for you. You just enough time you can clear out some space and hang a dragonfly with your Christmas decorations.
Mm-hmm.
Or the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving meal.
Ooh, well,
That's not a bad idea.
that is an idea.
Instead of the cornucopia.
Dragonfly.
Right.
May have to do that one. Although on our kitchen table is still Rob's Sky Striker, so it's been there for a while.
Put the Christmas lights around the rotors, plug them in, turn them on, and then spin the rotors and see what happens. It's going to be amazing.
You rip the cord
I
out
like
of the
it.
walls.
Good. So good.
I like it.
So yeah, be ready. Right there for you. It's waiting. Next news item.
Do, 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 do.
There we go. Oh my God. Everything tonight. Everything's just going to break.
Man.
Dropping on Friday, the 26th. It's G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra, but just for Steam for PC.
Oof.
That cool side-scrolling beat 'em up game where you can play as any of the 6 Joes in the picture below. You can play that on Steam for PC starting Friday.
Thursday.
Is it? I don't know. Yeah, I guess the 26th is Thursday.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't have a PC, so I can't help you there. I'm on an old MacBook here.
I may have to go get the joystick out of the basement because I'm all over this. This is going to be a good time.
Right. This will be fun.
You get the arcade style stick, which you played Street Fighter with back in the day.
We got to get you the live play along, Mark.
Ooh, it's not a bad idea. Hey, Scarlett's right-handed. Apparently, Snake Eyes cannot cut himself with his sword. So, what's not to like?
Well, it's the rubber suit from the first movie, so there's no way that's getting through all that.
Fair enough. Starduster has Batman's chin to attack with. So,
Dave McDonald asks, who's next to Roadblock? Gary? No, it's Ripcord.
that's what?
Ripcord.
Doesn't look like Ripcord.
No, but it's a real
He's
dark
holding
picture.
the helmet
too,
in his
so.
arms.
His hair's
it
not
looks-
very red.
No, again, it's a dark picture, so but it looks more like Ripcord in the game. He's
All right,
got
fair.
Very, very bright red hair in the game.
That's kind of a weird pick for number 6, right? Like the other 5, I got it.
Presumably,
bit.
you're running along the ground the entire time and not falling through the air.
Maybe that's how he comes into the game.
I think his special move involves having a jetpack, so they wanted somebody to zip around a little bit.
All
He's
right.
wearing a jump in the picture there, so
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we've seen very little footage of Ripcord in the game because he's very clearly the 6th guy in that group.
Mm.
But yeah, so
You don't see too many parachutists wearing jetpacks. It's kind of weird.
again, it's a little weird, but he had the name recognition, right?
I mean, I
He
guess.
was Marlon Wayans in the movie.
He doesn't
that's
look at
something.
all like Marlon Wayans. Just
As
saying.
He does
opposed
not.
to Grand Slam or Starduster.
Right. Nobody needs Grand Slam. If you're going to put a guy in pads on a jetpack, you go get Flash. You go
was
get
on-
the best.
He was on the box, right?
Yeah, but DC exists.
Mm. Look at that.
Phil is out.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Dustin Jeffrey says, reckless hot take. This is going to be the best G.I. Joe movie of the year, or best G.I. Joe video game of the year. There you go.
I was rocking, but just for a sec.
Just for 3 seconds, yes.
Mm.
That's all we're allowed. That's all we're allowed. Figure Six Pack says Grand Slam's first name is Barney. Incorrect. Grand Slam's last name is Barney.
That's right. James.
Yep.
He's Jim Barney.
He likes
Jimmy.
escapist fantasy.
And Flash is Tony.
That's right.
Hey, Tony Gambello. Hey,
Hey, Sergeant
doing?
Tony Gambello.
Hey.
From Ojai.
No, from Lodi.
Oh, Lodi. That's right.
Lodi.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure how pseudo mafioso Flash actually was with a name coming from the Gambello family. But the little quote at the bottom of the file card where it says, "Hey, I got to go see a guy about a thing. Don't wait up."
Right.
Like, what?
I didn't spend a lot for this. It fell off the back of a truck.
That's it.
It's weird that he wears a signet ring over his gloves.
Joel McMullen, happy first day of spring down in Australia, is the guy who made the Attack on Cobra Island fan game involved with Wrath of Cobra. The trailer for the first level looks almost identical. Honestly, Joel, I have no idea. But in fairness, those side-scrolling fight games are not real heavy on plot, so
Here's the bad guys. Beat them up.
Right. There's only so much plot you can have there.
When you had Bart Simpson beating up Sentinels, it got a little confusing, but I
Right.
figured it out.
It's a little weird. It was a little weird. And then when the Foot Clan showed up, it was just all
As long as nothing stops the Double Dragon back elbow, then I'm good.
I'm not the biggest Turtles fan in the world, but I think out of all those side-scrolling beat-em-up games, I think they had the best one.
Like that X-Men game. Except the one I played a couple months ago where Cyclops couldn't punch. All he could do was jump and shoot the I-beams every 30 seconds. So he's just hopping around the screen waiting for him to recharge.
The X-Men one is good. It's on my medal stand, along with The Simpsons. And then my dark horse one is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Hey.
Because when you hit your star power button, everything on the screen starts kicking off into a big dance number, and I can't get enough of that.
It's not bad.
They're all just going.
That's Thriller, not Moonwalker.
Anyways, next news item. Not a real big news week, folks, but we got a few. This week we saw Skybound put out the Real American Hero Compendium. That is collecting issues 1 to 50 for just $64.99. That thing is a hoss. That book. It is huge. Friend of the program, Diana Davis, had it on her Facebook page. They sent her comps as someone who's involved with this, and it is massive. It's like a 20-pound book. It's not that big, but it's big. $64.99 gets it. It's rated HB for honking big. And again, that is available. Well, it's available October 9th, so I guess I'm wrong about the date there. You know what came out this week? I'm sorry, was the Real American Hero, the first trade of the Skybound Real American Hero. My mistake.
I got nothing but love for this project, right? I don't need it. I have the individual issues, that's fine. But how do you physically read something that big? It's like laid flat. It looks like it's 10 inches tall.
Yeah.
Like I get
$1.30 an issue.
I'm not saying it's not a great deal. And if I was late to the party or didn't have the issues, yeah, I'm in. But I get how you're going to read like issues 1 through 5 and maybe 45 through 50, right? But how are you reading issue like 28, right? Like thunk, and now you've got half the book flipped over on a hand. And
that's when you break out the TV tray.
It feels like if you were like dead middle, I get it, right? Issue 25 is going to be a breeze. But other than that, it feels like you're like holding a slinky or something, right? Come on.
Cutthroat Thomas asks, how big? And the answer is, of course, honking big.
Real big. Yeah.
Honking big.
How big is it?
Yeah. This book brought to you by Bane.
Two-time first-team All-Pro quarterback Steve Young asks, "Is that the Marvel?" Yes, it's the only issue. Yeah. Real American Hero, 1 through 50. They have the publishing rights. Yeah, that's to give you an idea. Carson's book is 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's your goal.
Yeah, but it opens flat.
That's what we want to see. Can we outweigh 20 pounds? Greg Augustin posits that he read the Walking Dead compendiums and they weren't that unwieldy. Now, in fairness, Greg Augustin is 7'4".
That's true.
Can palm a basketball with just one hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that may not be. No, none of that is true. None of that is true. Greg Augustin is a normal-sized individual. We'll see it on October 9th, folks. I've seen pictures, but I can't answer anything for you till I've got it.
This is a paperback, so it's a little lighter.
Right. In hand.
The hardcovers with the Kickstarters.
That's even worse.
Next news item.
Oh, my book broke.
Other Skybound bits, of course, we just talked about the compendium. Scarlet 5, finishing up that miniseries, also happens October 9th. Transformers 13 will be released on the same day. No sign of Void Rivals 13. I don't know what's up with that. Normally that sneaks out the week ahead of Transformers, but it was curiously absent from Image's release schedule. I guess they got held up by art or something. Who knows?
Or Springer's agent demanded changes. Yeah.
Could be.
Didn't want to share the spotlight with Hot Rod.
He heard they tried to kill Cup in the main title. He's not happy.
Right. Look, man, you better get along with Hot Rod or he'll do stuff. Rat bastard.
That's right.
He'll try to help you while you one-on-one Megatron.
We don't get why kids aren't gravitating to Rodimus Prime. Oh, well, I got an idea.
Hey, Racktime Rob is a Hot Rod fan. Defend Hot Rod, Rob.
He looks cool.
There you go. That fair enough. That's he got the one thing that we really can't attack. He does look pretty cool.
Especially
defenses are still defenses.
Especially in Winnebago mode.
Oh, well, now Winnebago mode is...
No, that's Rodimus Prime. I'm talking about Hot Rod.
Okay, that's fair.
We did not ask him to defend Rodimus. There is no defense for Rodimus.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, honestly, I didn't have any problem with Hot Rod until he killed Optimus.
Till he killed Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
he's really good at fishing.
Seems like a stand-up guy.
Yorktown Joe says Void Rivals 13 is scheduled for October. I think they take breaks after 6 issues. That's fine and good. I'm just saying that there's a week in October before the 9th that normally would take place on. Like Void Rivals was usually a week before Transformers, and it wasn't on October 2nd, and it's not even on October 9th. So it's getting off its print schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they only just did the trade paperback for 7 through 12 just now. So give everybody a chance to catch up.
There you go.
Hey, look who's on the back.
Did you pick up that trade, Rob?
Yeah, I picked up the 2 of them. Yeah, because I hadn't read them, and now I'm reading them.
All right.
Transformers 13 is a bottle issue, and it's all about Ramhorn. It's going to be good.
That's not even the most obscure you could have gone, Mark. That's how
not
that's
bad.
How crazy
Though.
that is. That's
not
good.
bad.
They made Ramhorn the Moo Dang of the Autobots. I would actually read that issue.
Did you say the Wu Tang of the Autobots? Because that would be awesome.
No, the Moo Dang. It's a pygmy hippo.
All right, fair. I was just trying to think who's the most obscure of Blaster's lousy tapes. Might have been
Rosalina.
One of them got some play though. Was it Rewind and Lost Light? I forget. One of them got like a big run.
I believe so.
It was Rewind, I think, not Eject. Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
They paired him up with one of the other male presenting Autobots, and the internet went crazy because that's what the internet does.
I think it was Cyclonus. I think it was a Decepticon.
No.
No? No. It wasn't Autobots.
It's one of the Autobots.
Yeah.
The obscure one, Rosanna. There's an obscure tape for you.
Who's Rosanna?
Rosanna Dana.
Did she meet you all the way?
He's giving his answer, but he doesn't realize that I've taken him out of the main screen.
That's rough. He should be used to that by now. Honestly, that's on him.
Right. Knowing full well that he went digging for an even more obscure Autobot meant that.
Yeah, if you had to look it up to top the one I had on the fly,
right,
get out of here with that.
Right.
I just had to make sure I got the name right. That's all.
That's a 2 minute. That's 2 minutes for
I knew I was looking for the Kiss player from cassette from 2006.
Oh God, Kiss player.
Maybe it's Autobot Kicker. That'd be awesome. Yeah, get out of here with that.
No matter which version you got, it either crumbled to dust or the O-ring broke.
Look, Matt Rubin knows his celebrity robot couples.
There we go. Which are you talking about? Chrome Dome and Rewind or Cyclonus and Tailgate?
Those old Conjux Enduras.
Right. Dude, that Cyclonus was a badass in that. I love The Lost Light. Great comic.
When they restarted their continuity in IDW, Cyclonus was one of the few characters that I felt was interesting on his own. Like, unfortunately, that when they restarted it, that new book was very much just let's see how many characters we can cram into every issue.
Right.
And so very few times did they bother to do anything interesting with any of them. But Cyclonus was always one that they gave the time to.
They knew
the clock was ticking.
Right, I guess.
The bit in like issue, I forget if it was one, it was an early one of Lost Light, where one of the Autobots gets a broken up transmission over a radio or something. And it's foreshadowing of 6 big things that actually happen down the road, like years later in the storyline. It's just absolutely brilliant. And the one bit where when Ravage gets killed, spoiler, and across the galaxy, they just flash the Soundwave, right? And he just goes, and I'm like, they killed this cat. Of course he knows.
Right.
Big time.
Anyway. Sounds like you're getting choked up there, Mark.
I mean, cats and, it was really good in a way that Transformers comics often aren't. So, yeah, I fondly remember that comic. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Next news item.
Do.
Oh boy. Hey, wait, here it is.
Jumping ahead in the plot.
Again, this thing stinks. Chonky Tank Kitty brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. Be sure to head over that way when we're done here tonight. Give them a subscribe. You can see him there in his glory with his mailer tank. I've got him on the desk, but he's in his little box covered up by other Joes, so I'm not going to dig him out right now. But he's fun, and a lot of times during the work day when things get crazy like they did today, I just take him around and scoot him around and blow up other stuff, and so I'm happy for Michael Kleppinger giving me a little Chunky Tank Kitty of my very own.
Ask Mark Gerwig about his classified scale mobile command center, because he might have one. He'll just go under that magic desk and be like, "This thing,
right? Just wait."
This whole thing,
and then he falls over like Grover with the giant hamburger.
Cutthroat Comics says they should paint his tank. Absolutely not.
Ooh.
Loses all its charm if it stops looking like cardboard.
Yeah.
If it starts looking like an actual tank, come on now.
Then the cat gets ideas.
Yeah, we don't need to be planting that. Look at it. That cat, he's intense. I don't know how chunky he is, to be honest, but he's definitely got some intensity in those eyes.
I mean, unless he's mousels under there, that's a pretty thick neck going on right there.
I mean, cats all have pretty thick necks, though. They got that fuzz kind of evening it out.
That's a big boy.
I've had some big cats, man. I Chunky Tank Kitty just doesn't hit me as being bigger than those cats. So
if that cat tries to push you around, Mike, just put your foot down on it.
When I was married, we had 2 cats, and one was fat and one was gigantic.
Nice.
So we had both sides of large cats.
So you had after and holy shit.
Yeah. And Stinky was the athlete.
Wait,
And-
you named it after your sister?
Yes.
Okay.
I've told this story before, Mark. That's almost show lore at this point.
I mean, it might have been a Carson.
Absolutely.
Might have been a Carson show.
Absolutely named the cat after my sister. Turns out to be oddly prophetic because the cat was also oftentimes had to have its anal glands expressed.
Oh.
But anyways, we'll move on from the funniest time I ever went to a vet's office. Like, hey, you can come back and watch us and learn how to do this for yourself. That's worth my $30, thanks.
Yep. How much does it cost?
Right ahead.
Well, we're good here.
Yeah, that is absolutely worth my money. You are.
We were hoping you would take the hint, Mike.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
I took their hint
they
and
shouldn't
threw
have
it
gotten
right
the
back
veterinary
at them.
science.
Yeah, so I'm not the one who decided to be a vet tech, boys and girls. That's here's your 30.
Then vet tech's doing God's work today, so
Threw the cash at them. This is $30.
in ones. There you go.
Firefly says he's disappointed that I didn't name one of my large cats Ernie Ladd. Which, yeah, that would have been awesome as Big Cat Ernie Ladd, but they were both female, so it would have been weird.
Supposedly, when Ernie Ladd was a booker, I think in Mid-South, he berated King Kong Bundy in front of everybody. He went, Bundy, you big fat piece of shit. We're slamming you over, and you're beating guys in 30 seconds because you're lazy. I would just love it. The start of that sentence, right? Just in the room. Bundy, you big fat piece of shit.
That's the news. It's that kind of night.
It's a big cat, lad.
A ton of news, kids. Sorry, Mark, you were saying?
It's the big cat, Ernie Ladd.
Giant mitts on that guy.
Bundy.
Stay with us. We'll be back with the main event after a quick word from our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
It is time
Mm-hmm.
for the main event. That's right. We lucked out a little bit this week and found 3 out of the 4 Super 7 Reaction Plus figures. You know, the guys with the O-rings. And so we figured we'd jump on, we'd talk about them, we'd take some questions. I've got them with me. I bought them. I did find a second bat, and I gave that to Rack Time Rob. He's not opened it yet because I'm gonna take some pictures of it for the Facebook page or something. I haven't decided. We might have some bonus content come out of these guys because I have some thoughts. But let me pull down the still photo here. I got to get myself in the big window. So everybody try not to be openly repulsed.
There.
Where are we? There we go. There we go. So Jeff Butler says this is an exclusive. You're the first ones with them in hand. I mean, no, somebody out there bought them before we did.
Mm-hmm.
I know
somebody bought that snake eyes,
right? And
Yeah.
I figure there's more than one of them in the box, so so at least one. But they left all the bats, so I bought both of them. So, Cutthroat Comics. Do you think people will buy these? Yeah, I do.
Some people will.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these definitely have a bigger audience than the reaction with 5 points of articulation did. That's for certain. Let me take a second too. Let me get the QR code out of Mark's forehead. Looks like the world's worst turban.
I am the leader. I will beat the Hulk. All right, fine. Pop Rob.
I could put up the little logo.
Nice, like it's
That
balancing,
fits a little better. It's like a halo.
right?
It's a beret.
It's like a raspberry beret. Yeah,
It is off to the side. It's rather jaunty.
it's a little bit askew.
But we'll save him for last. We'll start off with Cobra Commander. Here he is. It's a good likeness. He is billed as. Let me get the comment off the screen there. Hang on for me again. I can't do two things at once. This is what happens when the guy who hits all the buttons is also the one that falls into the figures. This is why that's a terrible idea. But you can see Cobra Commander. He is billed as cartoon Cobra Commander. Let me get my notepad up. We'll use that as backdrop. Kind of. I will figure out how this works. And it's certainly a good likeness. We were concerned about the legs on these guys, and suffice to say, some of those they look a little short. And to be honest, I don't know if the legs I don't know if the legs are short so much as the torso is long. It's a burly kind of torso on this guy. I guess it would make more sense if I showed him off next to the bat, because the bat's got kind of the same thing going on. You can see there, just long torsos on these guys. Almost a little too long for their bodies, but it kind of works. The hands are a little bit softer. There's a little bit of give on the fingers. I can't really show that on the camera, but it's enough that you can get there's pretty wide grips on the pistols, and so they fit into his hand pretty comfortably. I will say that the details on these guns, not the best. I don't know what's up with this guy. The thicker one, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. This other one looks more like the laser pistol that we used to see across the old Sunbow cartoons. Mm-hmm. And it does achieve that. So I'm not as critical of that one, because that's what they're going for. It's the cartoon Cobra Commander after all. But he's pretty solid.
Jason Reed, yeah, that's the question everyone's asking.
Is it a ball joint head? No, they are not. They do move side to side. But no up and down.
I mean, it works for the commander, right? Because of the collar, but
right. Yorktown Joe asks, "Are they thick in the crotch?" Yeah, they are. I don't think they're going to break in that spot particularly easily.
What's the point of doing swivel arms if you're not going to do a ball joint neck?
Good question.
It's not really much more expensive.
No, you wouldn't think. It's just different tooling.
Yeah, but this is all new tooling, Mike, right? So may as well start with it.
Right. Bart asks, back and thigh screws. The construction, as far as how they're put together, is just like the old O-ring figures. There's the big screw in the back, and then there's one in each inner thigh. There's no wrists or ankles or things like that to this point. As far as the construction goes, it's like a figure from 83, 84. I have not taken it apart yet. I'm a little... So I don't have an interior shot for you just yet. I can't comment as to how it's constructed on the inside, but it can't be too far off. Two annoying things. One is specific just to my figure. Clearly the O-ring is not in there quite right, because he likes to pop out and have his waist get off center, which makes him a pain in the butt to pose. The other one is more a general comment, which I'll save until after we've looked at all three. Second one up would be CoverGirl from the Gary Godso collector's line.
Right?
And just to see if that helps at all. I don't know if it will.
She got the man hands. Oof.
A little bit, but this gun is not small. So I'm happy that they gave her decent hands, and it's a little softer, so there's some give on them. But the handle on that gun is not thin. So it's a pretty decent representation of that snow job laser that they all shot in the cartoon. The stock's a little weird looking, but when it's in her hands, you don't care that much. I agree with Cutthroat Comics on this one. The color on her uniform is good. It is a pretty decent, decently accurate representation of what we saw on the Sunbow miniseries, which was the only place that she appeared looking like this. She is a little bit shorter, but not too much. And again, I don't think that's necessarily leg length. They're pretty much the same height to the waist, but her torso is just slightly less tall, and it works.
She's the easiest win, I think, because drop her in the Wolverine, she looks fabulous.
Right, and honestly, with I would say she's the win of the three that I've got.
Okay,
like it head and shoulders. This is the one that looks the most like it could have fallen out of 1983, and been what we would consider a GI Joe. She's probably the easiest one to do, but she was the biggest win.
That swivel on her right elbow looks a little funky, Mike. Like once you've turned the arm, it's now bigger at the elbow than on the upper sleeve.
It is a little bit. It's not the arm is not entirely round. It is a little bit ovalish, and that does throw things off a little bit.
That ain't that hard to get right. Just saying.
No,
yeah.
No. Especially for a character wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
Like she's not. I've seen the argument that she doesn't look particularly feminine, but she doesn't have to. She's got the bomber jacket on, the leather jacket on, which hides some features, and that's fine. That works, right? But they could have used that to kind of use the same thickness of arms that they did for, say, Cobra Commander.
I mean, as opposed to 83 CoverGirl,
right. Compared to the original,
big bouffant
with her,
the Duke. Right.
Yeah. Again, they figured out here in 2024 that they were not so cheap that they couldn't go with two different pieces of plastic on the head. Like the hair piece is a different piece of plastic. And then finally we've got the Bat. He does come with his own big honking machine gun. This is billed as comic book Bat, which is why he's got the blue uniform. It's kind of a weird blue. Like I could see it if it was a little more Cobra blue, but here again the hands are soft, so it'll hold that big machine gun. Both hands are removable. He is definitely where they spent their money on Wave 1. And then you've got the backpack where it's got the traditional 3 arm attachments. We've got the claw, and we've got the flamethrower, and then we've got the Dole Whip dispenser / laser gun. And it really looks something akin like that. It's a little bit thinner than the 86 one does. And you can just kind of mix and match those on the arms. There is a good amount of give on it. They kind of pop on. So you want to be very careful when you are changing the hands on the Bat. One thing they did that is different, that is not just a tampo, that is molded in there. and those details are painted. So that is definitely an improvement over the original.
Over the hologram?
In this, I would say, yeah. Look, Mark, if only from the standpoint of that hologram sticker, how many of them are still there now, right?
Yeah, it aged poorly. You're right.
That wasn't even a hologram. It was just so lenticular.
Oh, that's right.
And so, yeah, he's pretty cool. The problem I have with the Bat and with Cobra Commander and CoverGirl, it's the same. They have to fix this leg articulation. They are stiff at the hips. They do not, like, their legs do not necessarily move all that well from side to side. Cobra Commander's is the best of the three, and it fights you, and I get worried about breaking him. It really doesn't articulate well that way at all with the Bat. Like, that's as far as they go. And CoverGirl is about the same. Hers, it's starting to work a little bit of give in there. That might be some of it, but there again, I'm afraid to do it too much because I think it feels like I'm wearing it out doing that. Matt Rubin says $20 a pop. $20.49 at Target. So yeah, $20.49. I think it's $20 if you get them off of the Super 7 website, but it's in that neighborhood. It's in that ballpark. It's certainly, you get better value on these than you did on the 5-point articulation, guys, I think. But I'm spoiled. I'm doing a G.I. Joe podcast as an almost 50-year-old man, so clearly what they did back in the 80s left its mark on my brain. So guys, I'll let you, as I'm putting this back together, getting them out of the way a little bit, I'll let you guys have the first questions. Is there anything that you just got to know that I haven't gotten to?
Yeah, I'll say. This is me being persnickety, but the shoulder and elbow rivets, those are just plain bare metal, right? They didn't tint those at all.
Correct.
That feels like a detail that the G.I. Joe line did that a lot of other imitators didn't. And you need to keep on that.
Mark Weber, any other?
I mean, I interrupted you 4 times with my pertinent questions. The one thing, and it's something we saw from Jump, it's not just the length of the legs, but they look like fireman poles almost, right? Like there's no definition to them one way or the other. It just feels like pool noodles almost.
Right. It kind of works with CoverGirl because, again, she's a little smaller and a little skinnier. But the lack of definition on the legs really is a detriment, I think, to Cobra Commander and the Bat. And
I think with the Bat, you could probably excuse it. But
I guess
they could actually be poles on the Bat.
Star Wars Collecting and Hobbies has a point that I'm not sure holds water. Right. I'm not sure this is a plastic density issue. It looks like it's a structural issue almost.
Yeah, they're just kind of wedged in there. And so I don't, again, it's going to take a little bit more play, but
it's a little grinding away.
As I said, yeah. The Cobra Commander is getting a little better. CoverGirl's getting a little better. The Bat's not getting any better at all. And I think it's just the amount of plastic in the space. Like they just need to do something to widen up that hip joint a little bit. It's not where 2 pieces of plastic are meeting. It's where the plastic, meets the metal T-bar in the hip joint. That's the issue. That's the joint. X asks, is the plastic more stiff or bendy than Real American Hero or Retro O-Ring? The plastic on the main part of the figure itself is real good. In terms of just like the rest of the figure, they're great. They are a little bit less rigid in the fingers and in the thumbs, which again, great. So no complaints there at all. The plastic is a real good quality kind of plastic. It doesn't feel like it's gonna get soft or it's all good. That's not a real big concern.
Rachel Salinas was asking about file cards.
Hang on. File cards? Yes, there's file cards. There's Cobra Commander, and there's the Bat, and here's CoverGirl, and they are, without having the originals in front of me, they look to be exactly the same as the ones from back in the day.
Flag points?
No flag points.
Boo.
No, but the file cards are a huge win.
Right.
Yeah.
And these cards, this cardboard, this packaging is no joke, right? It's pretty solid stock. I would almost say just keep them on keep the full card, because I don't know where you're going to find a pair of scissors to get through more than a couple of those.
We're not using the fun school stock.
Bart says Mike spent $60 on Joe's. That ain't a beachhead. No, that happens sometimes. I spent $80 because again I bought one. I gave it to Rob.
Mm-hmm.
What a stand-up guy.
That's right. I think the only one I left a second Cobra Commander on the pegs.
That'll show.
Cursed you for that.
Greg Augustin, full file cards, not in multi-language. Correct.
Yes.
Just in English.
Which means they can't sell these in Canada.
Well, not legally anyway. But Super 7, we keep trying to make Super 7 out into be this massive toy conglomerate, and they're just not.
Nope.
Like they're bigger than the guys we bring out here every couple of weeks to talk about their projects, certainly, but they're not a high volume company by any stretch.
They're 30% smaller than they used to be.
Right. And they don't have flag points because they don't want to get tied up with Phil's lawyers.
Right.
Phil's got that flag point symbol just on lockdown now.
That's right. Intellectual property, baby.
You
That's
let it
where
die.
the real money is.
So again, if you've got questions about these figures, by all means, let us have them.
I am open to licensing deals.
Brian Fabian asks, Mark, do you think the O-ring is interfering with the articulation of the legs? I don't know why you're asking, Mark.
Come on now, because I'm the honcho.
I mean, he is the honcho and all, but
Yeah.
he's not the one with the figures.
I mean,
I unless, again, I haven't taken them apart, so I don't know what the exact construction is. But if the problem is the O-ring being a little too tight and therefore pulling the legs into the body a little bit too much, possibly, but like that shouldn't be your problem. You should have a good fitting joint without that, and the O-ring should be tight to hold it into place well.
it's more likely, I think, to be the placement of the T-bar, right? Where the T-bar is sitting inside the hip joint.
Right.
But I haven't held one yet, so I don't know. And Mike's as seasoned a pro as it gets, and he can't tell from holding it. So you probably will have to actually do some surgery to see what the holdup is.
Yeah, at some point. We do have a camera, so we may be seeing some extra content on this when I can figure out where to do that.
Hey, Greg Augustin has given me some love. I don't know if he meant to, but I'll take it.
Was that Mark's idea to do separate language file card in the boxes in the mid-2010s? He nods yes.
They said we can't put it on the packaging. I'm like, come on, we can't. So if we do it, we got to do 4 languages. I go, you know what? Fine. Give me 4 file cards and put them all inside, because we're not selling to kids anyway right now. So give me my file card. If I can't have them outside, which is a shame, because that's the real value of the file card, is on pack. So kids like us, when we were kids, can flip the figure over and learn about the character and decide if they love them more. Right? If they already took them off the shelf, they love them a bit. But if Dial Tone's from Oregon, he's going in the cart, right? In a way that he wasn't before I flipped that card around, right? Or if your dad was a Marine, or is a Marine, pardon, and you flip a guy around and find out he's Army, not Marine, Maybe he's going back on the shelf. But either way, it's a chance to make the character resonate more. And being on pack is the important part.
A question here from Kiavlaw something. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. Hey guys, the G.I. Joe Bats is on sale for $35 at Walmart. I think you're not getting Walmart. I think you're getting somebody selling through Walmart.
Yeah.
But not their black
Marketplace.
form, the YouTube reviews. No, these are not. They are blue. They're the comic book version of the bat. They're trying to make it look like it did on the pages of their first couple of appearances of the back in the Marvel book. So they are of a blue tint. And that's probably the only way they got to do the bat like that, right?
Mhm.
Like they probably don't have access to do a 3 3/4 Cobra bat. That's probably something that Hasbro's holding on to for something down the line.
Well, and Snake Eyes is kind of purple anyway, right?
Yeah,
kind of
Snake Eyes-
purple. Just
Yeah,
like
Snake
Gun.
Eyes a little blue, little bluish too.
He's got
we-
some like blue highlights. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he's
Please.
kind of blue, and then he's got painted blue highlights on top of that. Yes. Again, because that's how he looked in the comic. That's how it was represented in the old 4-color books. Rachel Salinas asks, "Do you think we'll get a Hector Ramirez figure?" I think we got a shot, right?
Ugh.
I mean, that's an easy 4 toy line working action figure.
I hope they make that figure so nobody can buy it and we never have to hear about it ever again. And Honolulu and Bongo the Balloon Bear.
Yeah, but Hector works with G.I. Joe, Transformers, Inhumanoids, and My Little Pony.
Yeah,
Or
and
not My Little, sorry, Gem.
works. I would say fits, right? Because works means as in adds no play value at all whatsoever. Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah, Mark's a toy guy, so unless you're giving him something toyetic, he's not in for it. I think if that's what you're wanting, I think this is the line. If any line is going to bring that to you, this is probably that line.
But maybe they'll save it for a
That
convention
said-
exclusive.
Right. And that is the truth there. Viper Scout said Hector would be an easy reuse of the twins body. Very true. We know that that's going to happen sometime soon. So
I hope they do Tiger Force Hector Ramirez
let's hope. Get him in a 2-pack with Tollbooth.
and Cobra Law Hector Ramirez. It's going to be really good.
Jeff Butler with a question for Phil. Phil, are you planning to get the whole wave and the twins?
I do have them pre-ordered, so I think so.
I don't know if it's pre-ordered, Phil. I think it's just ordered.
Well, I pre-ordered through Big Bad Toy Store about a month or
Oh,
so. ago.
well, never mind that. They cheat. Andrew Galgan inserted.
What?
Look, I'm sure it was said, so we have to throw that in there.
I'm just saying, if he pulled that off while watching our podcast, wow.
Look, man, that's what kind of insanity we get coming back week after week after week.
I mean, it'd be one thing to have it like on your AirPods, right? But if you're actually watching the show, that's pretty outstanding. I just gotta say.
Yorktown Joe says, add a cowboy hat on CoverGirl and switch the legs to jeans. Squint and there's Honolulu. Yeah, except it's not good. No.
That's a lot of work to make a figure that sucks
Right.
of a character that doesn't matter. But
Right.
okay.
Right. I was never the biggest Honolulu fan. And it was mostly because she was in that two episodes of that miniseries and then never seen again.
Yeah.
Like for all the clamoring people do about Honolulu West, like Lowlight's sister had more of an impact on the Sunbow cartoon. And nobody's going for Lowlight's sister. So
Right. What I'm really interested in here is the reaction Joes from Super 7 were supposed to be Sunbow, right? But they put out a Quinn
right.
who was never on the Sunbow cartoon, right? And was
No.
a great call, right? Great call. And they were actually pretty good at finding the niches, right? And the unscratched itches. And I mean that in the most platonic way.
Yeah,
But,
I don't think they ever came out and said, "Hey, we're doing Sunbow."
right.
I think their hook was, we're going to turn over the rocks, or a lot of rocks that Hasbro's not going to be able to get to, and just so happens that more of them happen in the Sunbow universe than in the comic universe.
I mean, they did a few decolored characters.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because
That too.
reaction figures were not a lot of collectors' cup of tea, just because of the 5 POA, that no legitimate G.I. Joe figure ever was, right? So there's room here, man. An
Yeah.
O-ring Dr. Venom would be fantastic, right? An O-ring
Right.
Quinn, like, a Quinn they already did. They know Quinn was a good idea. Throw him in the O-rings. Even some of the 5th, 8th, 9th tier level Joes who barely survived an issue or didn't.
Cool Breeze and Mangler.
Just like that, man. I would absolutely buy those. Those guys are more interesting to me by far than a Honda Lou or a Hector Ramirez or a Ariana
Bongo the Balloon Bear.
Yeah, or Ariana the Slave Girl or whatever, right? Like, come on.
The White Clown.
I don't know.
Well, when the rumors first hit about this, it was that big 9-foot tall guy from the first miniseries was part of the selection. So I'm kind of excited to see a guy that, frankly. not that, yeah, Ramar, that was his name.
Yeah.
Not that I'm just gotta have, like, oh my God, Ramar was such an important. No, he wasn't at all. But would it be neat to see somebody do gigantic ass Ramar guy for me to have Duke brawl with in my own
arena of sport,
bookshelf arena of sport? Yeah, then I'm all for it.
Was that guy officially announced and then moved out, or
that was a pre-order without pictures? Showed up on listings like Big Bad Toy Store. So
yeah, like
not really officially announced, but
it was a listing that then got recalled and replaced. So Greg Augustin says Hector Ramirez, the John Munch of the Hasbro universe. Yeah, for the 80s. Yeah, he was. X says that FOMO is trying to rear its ugly head on these. I would say, they're fine. There's only 4 of them in the wave, so you're not out a huge amount of money, even if you just splurge and get all 4. This is going to turn into more of a pick and choose line for me. One thing I do want to note, it doesn't seem to affect how they fit on the classic vehicles, but their feet are kind of hexasided, 6-sided foot pegs.
hexagonal.
It doesn't seem to fit. It doesn't seem to bother how they fit on the classic vehicles. I've seen some pictures of these guys hitching rides on the foot pegs of all of our old favorites, but
Maybe it means they'll fit on an Allen key when you're painting them for custom.
Right. It may come up at some point. I don't know for certain.
Firefly was asking about the footholes and the backpack pegs. Is the hole in the back the same?
Looks like it. To be honest, I haven't been smart enough to get an old Joe out and compare. But it looks the same.
You don't happen to have an 86 Beachhead handy?
I just so happen to have 2 of them handy.
So now we're jumping ahead, sir.
We can do that right now.
See? We'll do it live.
But again, I didn't have an answer just snapping ready to go. So here's Beachhead. I took his backpack off. Let me get back in the big window.
Yeah.
Breaking news as it happens, people.
Here is our bat. We'll remove his backpack there. Nice snug fit on that, but that's always a per unit thing. We'll try and get that on Beachhead. It does not fit. It's too big.
I thought Mike was going to make the first ever bat head.
If we go the other way,
Beach bat.
it's too loose there. So
that must be by design.
A beach Android trooper.
You're not going to confuse the accessories for these guys with the ones from back in the day. And you can tell right there, like the detailing on this is very, very expressly, hey, we're trying to build an accessory for a robot that was on a cartoon. Whereas the whole mentality of them building G.I. Joe back in the 80s and 90s was, let's make this look as realistic as possible.
That's actually a comic look. So,
right.
To further Quinn's point, we already actually have a comic figure in the first wave.
I'm going to kick him out again. There we go.
Oh,
so that's all we need is Phil to show up and be, actually, guy, I can't do it. I can't do it. You're killing me, Biff McHonky Dunk.
I've lost track. How many times have I been banned this episode?
I don't know.
Am I hitting the record?
No. Did you have like a 7 banner, I think, a while ago? It was awesome.
So to answer Firefly's question, do the foot pegs and backpack work with vintage figures? Foot pegs looks like they do. Backpacks, no, they do not. At least not in my very, very protracted straw poll. But I'm going to guess it's about the same.
Dude, somebody's going to try those bat attachments on a vintage bat.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I haven't fished out an old bat yet to compare and contrast, and I'm not real. Those bats are kind of pricey, so I'm not real. Looking forward to making that. I'm willing to let this guy's attachment be his own.
That new stuff looks shinier anyway. It would probably be a bad color match on the old bat.
It's not. It's not going to work.
I'm just saying. Try getting 3 old bat attachments for $20, right?
Right.
You can't even get one, I bet. Maybe one. Not shipped though.
I think it depends what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the laser and the flamethrower are easier to find than the claw and the hand.
Because the claw and the hand break.
Well, the hand is the smallest; it just gets lost, and the claw broke all the time.
Yeah.
Rachel Selena says saxophone playing timber would get my attention. I'm in on saxophone playing timber.
Cold Slither box set.
Right?
Oh yeah, that I'd buy.
Oh my God, that's you'd have to print extras, second run.
Sparks, shooter, just spitballing here.
I'm looking through the live questions, so if you guys have something you got to talk about.
Can't believe Jey Uso won the Intercontinental title. What a joke.
Andrew Gaugan says, did I hallucinate that Super 7 was going to do a Dana or other October Guard figure? I didn't see anything to that effect, so you may have hallucinated that.
Was that one of those 4 initial listings that got taken down? Maybe?
I don't know. I thought the other 3 were 3 of the, like, I thought it was Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, Cover Girl, and Ramar, and then the Ramar got replaced with the Bat. So
Bart knows exactly where my bread is buttered. Worlds Without End Steeler, baby. But
I thought it was ice cream holder.
He has to have Reefer Madness head.
Right.
I
was kind of hoping the Ultimates line would get to Steeler in his Sunbow vibes there. Just give him the sunken purple rings.
Viper Scout with a great call here, right?
Cutthroat Comics asked, do you think Super 7 will try again to do the Cobra airship? I don't. Not right away. Not for a while anyway.
Maybe the figures, but I don't know about the mothership.
Dave McDonald with one of my personal favorites, B.A. Lacar. Season 2 of Sunbow doesn't get enough love.
I'm telling you, Viper Scout's killing it right there.
Where we got?
Cartoon accurate. About halfway up.
I see. I'm nowhere close to the bottom, so I don't.
He says, cartoon accurate Breaker, Grunt, and Steeler. I was going to do that.
There you
go. Darker bluish colored Breaker if I could have done my re-release line as a 50th anniversary style fig. I was dying to do it.
I would love getting those alternate heads from the 83 proposed
Right?
releases.
I saw
Jeff-
those on card at Daryl DePriest's house one time. It's like as close to like an actual grail. Not that I'm after it, but like just ridiculous to see those on card. Hard to believe they actually exist.
Jeffrey Stalemate Ball, welcome to the show, sir. I think Dana was a regular reaction listing, and that's entirely possible. Because I didn't follow those nearly as closely, and they tended to fall out of my head a little bit. We dissed the reaction line, but they got 8 waves out of that thing, and plus exclusive waves, so it had to be successful. Somebody was buying these things.
Mm-hmm.
For as much as we poo-poo them, they were somebody else's flavor of the week. So
They got some of my money, not a lot, but some. Yeah.
Yeah, they never got far out enough into the weird for me to spend on them, but I wasn't averse to it if I had to.
Mhm.
Like I didn't need a reaction barbecue. I wanted a reaction barbecue's dad in the Cobra suit from that one episode.
Cobra's captives.
Just so he can stand there and scream all the time. Oh. Jeff Butler's making up lyrics to 60s. Scotty Z70 correcting Phil. Hexagonal. Because hexadecimal is 16, Phil.
You said hexagonal.
I don't know. I don't remember what you said, so I just wanted to point out that no one likes you.
Ooh,
Oh,
tough room.
We love Phil. Phil gets teased because that's the character Phil plays.
You asked me to be on here yesterday.
Right? He's here on short notice. He knows what I think of. Phil knows what I think of him. Cutthroat Comics asked, would wonder if Mark Weber would buy any of these Super 7 O-Ring figures.
Yeah, I'm on all 4. Normally with a troop builder, I usually buy 3 of them, even in classified troop builder. I'm in for 3. But with this, I was okay with 1 bat. Like, I got he's fine. So, but yeah, I'm in.
Cobra Commander.
I'm
That'd
in.
be fun.
I might not need that one.
Joe Fan 84 would like to see some Brazil figs. That would be cool.
Yep. Especially, I was a sucker for Claymore, right? Because
I think
unique,
he's
right?
like I think he's talking more like the figures that only got released in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Like Thompson and that type. So
Cobra
Claymore's great.
Mortal.
Yeah, Claymore would be fantastic because so few people have him in 86 and all, but from 86. But I think he was talking more the super rare, degrading plastic if you breathe on it funny, Argent 7 types.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding out for a bill.
Beal.
Love Bill.
X asks, does CoverGirl only have the 1 rifle as an accessory? Cobra Commander with just the pistol, or was it 2 pistols? Cobra Commander does have the 2 pistols. CoverGirl does just have the rifle. That is her only accessory. Again, the money on this line was very clearly spent on the bat with the backpack and the swappable hands and all the accessories and
What
stuff.
does Snake Eyes come with? They have a sword
Snake
and a
Eyes
gun?
has a sword, a backpack, and I think he's got a pistol and an Uzi looking.
Well, that's where the budget for the wave went. Then.
Right.
Yeah, right. Hey, in fairness to CoverGirl, the original CoverGirl just came with a tank.
Right.
Right. Like,
she didn't even drive the tank in the series. She drove the Jeep. Took timber in the Jeep and got rid of the bomb. That's all she did. We never actually saw her drive a tank.
No, she remember she pulled in with the Wolverine with Timber and Snake Eyes when she brought him back.
Was it?
Yeah.
Or was she in the Jeep with that too, and they jumped out of a trailer?
No, she pulled in the Wolverine at the beginning. I think she was in a Jeep to get the canister out, but when she picked up Snake Eyes and Timber, she was in the Wolverine.
Toy Bounty Hunter touching the fill button here. One of my favorite Sunbow episodes was the Game Master, so I wouldn't mind a Games Master O-ring, not to mention a Bikini Baroness. We know that would make Phil's bookshelf of fame.
She's fully clothed.
I'm just saying.
Can you
She
imagine?
is, sure.
Can you imagine how bad a bikini baroness would look like with all the articulation cuts and rivets? And
Yeah.
You don't need to imagine there was a Leonard line of ladies in the late 90s that just looks terrible all on its own.
Yeah. It's not going to be what you think it's going to be, right? It's going to be awful. So, no, but I did, yeah, Games Master was one of the best episodes. But I'm getting fuzzy again.
Wants to get around if
you gotta do that thing again, Mark.
If Hasbro wants to block him from doing any of the main characters and their main looks, Super 7 can get around with it by doing like Duke with the glasses and the mustache on the nose, or Scarlet from Revenge of Cobra, where for like a full episode, for some reason, she had a gray shoulder pad instead of a red one. Just get those obscure paint errors and
right
and off-model versions.
That's what we need, Phil, is the Super 7 paint errors line.
Right.
Get out of here.
Like Transformers has been making badly colored Seekers forever because of lazy ass animators and colorists.
But then you get things like
they were just tired. The whip cracked for so long. Jeff Butler says, with these Super 7 Reaction Plus figures, no one will laugh at Harvey Lathrop anymore. Sleep tight, babies. The county fair is tomorrow. That's awesome.
I want to see superhero costume Airborne. What was up with that look?
Pajamas Airborne.
Right. Firefly. We need Deke, Chef Cobra Commander, and Chef Destro. That is one of the few moments from the Deke series where I actually laughed at one of the intended places.
I would take Beret Cobra Commander from the comics if we're going that route.
That would, if they did goofy disguise Cobra Commander and Destro, I'd be in.
Oh, yeah, I'm buying that one too.
In. Figure 6-pack. I bet there's more than one cover girl in G.I. Joe. They're a dime a dozen. Oh. I'm just, again, you guys talk about whatever you want. I'm going through
bring out Eevee. A bunch of random Metalhead's mom.
Metalhead's mom.
If I could make my own grandmother.
Grandmother. Yes.
If you could make your own G.I. Joe figure, what G.I. Joe figure would you do? I would do a beachhead repaint with the red mask like you got from Fun School. It's a rare one. That's kind of my grail.
And the yellow vest?
The yellow vest and the red mask, yeah.
Adventure People beachhead.
Right.
I would do Skydiver. That guy was awesome.
I have him. He's fun.
He is also he's a beachhead with a crazy legs head.
Is that what he is?
Yeah. So I would probably add one of him to the old collection too.
He works really well in the MRF racing Jeep because he's got like little goggles on top of his helmet, so he kind of looks like he's a '60s racer driver.
I thought he was Crazy Legs with an even worse paint deco. Right?
No,
I didn't think it was possible.
It's a beachhead body with an even worse paint deco and Crazy Legs head.
Wow.
What I always thought was hilarious is that Windmill has a better deco in Fun School than he does in Hasbro.
And he's got a windmill backpack.
Yeah, he's one of the few that got better.
Yeah, Fun School Windmill is far and away better than the Hasbro one.
But that just reminds me that we now need a Fun School tripwire in America because, purple with Bomb Squad written on your torso.
The Bomb Squatty himself. Phil, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. What do you say let's roll into shout outs here?
All righty. I'm going to shout it out again to my partner on Articulated Points, Patrick Stewart. He and Chris Murray are going through an in-depth report on the Eco Warriors right now. Speaking of brightly colored fellows, we're only about halfway through our coverage of it. It's a video we did push out to Operation Armor earlier this year, but these are expanded versions, and I even show up a little bit. So take a look over on that channel. I'm sure we'll have links below.
You can fast forward. Through those parts. But yeah, you can actually. We've got Phil's channel linked up in the description box down below, so you can click right over when we're done here. click on Articulated Points. Be sure to give them a subscription and check out those 2 videos, because Patrick and Chris really, really break it down. And yeah, they do get some assistance from Phil.
Just a little bit. Just a little
A
bit.
little Phil goes a long way.
I'm good in small doses.
Right. Everybody is there. It's become a contest amongst the cast here to see who gets to remind me of the Bandcamp podcast first. But I've remembered it. It's just I go last, so it doesn't go until last. Who else you got, Phil?
That's all for this week. Just Patrick.
All right, you be that way then. Nobody else in Phil's life worth talking about.
Nope.
Sorry, Phil's
very
mom.
alone.
Sorry, Phil's dad. Sorry, Phil's brother.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah. All right. I knew there was a sibling. I was just guessing. I didn't remember.
It was 50-50.
Right. Well, yeah. Anyways, Rock Time Rob.
Shout out to the studio audience. Hi. Thanks for coming.
There were a lot of you tonight. We got up over 80. It was not bad. Thank you for tuning in.
You're
and
welcome.
watching me prattle on about my toys. Next week I'll show off the electric train set.
Not the G.I. Joe one, just an electric train set.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
just a little steam engine. Toot, toot.
I've got a Disney World one.
Yeah, we know.
figured. I figured.
Who else you got, Rack Time Rob?
That's it.
All right. He's tired. He wants to go to bed.
I'm sore. Yeah.
Honcho Mark Weber.
Oh, shout out to the Chesterton soccer team who showed up last Friday to get smoked by Barrington Christian Academy 4-3, baby. First win of the year. Woo! And look, the kids, they only had 11. They didn't have any subs. They played hard. Look at this. My camera's still messing with me. That didn't work.
Kind of did. It got
Little
you
bit.
there.
Whatever. Anyway, and you could tell afterwards that they were exhausted, a little crestfallen, because they almost came back. They scored that 3rd goal in the very last minute, so it felt like they might get us. And then we escaped with the win. And one of their
kids. Tell us
kids,
the score, Mark. What was the score?
4-3, 4-3, and so we barely escaped with the win. And one of their kids was kind of huffing and puffing and looking a little down as I left. And I want to make sure he was okay because he was breathing kind of hard. And I'm like, hey, but are you all right? And he's like, yeah, I thought we were going to get you guys there at the end. And I said, hey, you guys played with no subs and you played hard and you got nothing to be ashamed of. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's get smoked every day. That's what I let him know. And that's what he took home from it. So, PCA 4, Chesterton 3. We're on a win streak, a 1-game winning streak. So we like that.
Gotta start somewhere.
Suckers get smoked every day. You know that. Actually,
oh my God.
Actually, true story. There was a kid who was breathing kind of heavy on the other team, and his eyes were big, like high beam. And I wanted legit wanted to make sure he was okay. And I'm like, hey man, are you all right? And he's like, yeah. It was awesome. And then he said it was the best. That was my first soccer game ever.
All right.
Outstanding.
He's thrilled that they only had 11 because it meant he got on the field.
Yeah, dude, they were good kids and they were happy to be there, and we will play them again. So we're looking forward to it. So to go from the the goofy to the serious, let's all give a shout out to Diana Davis, because her mother is having some health issues right now that she's having to help guide the staff through, and that's got to be so hard. So we all love Diana and hope her mom's feeling better soon, and that the docs and medical staff listen to Diana, because she always knows what she's talking about. That's it.
Been a rough year for the Davises from the medical standpoint. So we are absolutely pulling for the senior Mrs. Davis in this one.
Yeah.
What else you got, Mark?
That's it. That's plenty.
All right, you be that way.
Mm-hmm.
I will reiterate Rob's shout out to the folks at home watching us. You're here every week. I'm not sure why sometimes, because we are, of course, America's favorite 2-bit slime show. I know that we had built some audience. I know that was probably because we hadn't brought Phil back for a few weeks, and now we've ruined that trust.
Well,
tough room.
But you know, I throw myself on your mercies. Please don't leave because we had Phil Guesthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to shout out to Phil for coming on short notice.
the tale of two mics.
Right. We wanted to get we tease Phil, but we love Phil. There's nobody nobody we lean on more from outside of the immediate circle of hosts. He is often here on short notice. He is often here, like he's the guy who I know I can call first if somebody's sick. Correct time, Rob. You know, so there's so
Pardon me, I'll try and work cancer around.
Health it up down there, Smitty. So
I mean, I did, but
right,
you do you. Yeah.
Not everybody's Mark Webber, you know.
Who's gonna rip on Rob for having a health issue?
I'm going to talk up Phil and destroy my own flesh and blood.
That's the way to do it,
right? We cannot be unilaterally positive. Damn it. But I do have some ideas rolling around for some bonus content concerning these guys, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully, we'll get it up sometime soon.
That's what she said,
right? If you're catching us on replay, we love you too. You count just as much. But however you're watching us here on the YouTubes or on the Facebooks, again, do all those cool social media things. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a little huggy guy on Facebook. Do all that cool stuff and really help us continue to grow the channel. If we could get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year, I'll take that as a secondary goal because clearly 2,000 was right out. What kind of fools were we thinking 2G, 2K by the end of the year? Fools, I tell you, fools. But 1,500, we're almost there now. So we can take that as a small step, attainable goal to make ourselves feel good. Help us out, please. Give a special thanks to our friends over at Kokomo Toys, our wonderful sponsors. We'll sing the theme song real quick. Kokomo Toys. Kokomo Toys. And to, of course, Roma Collectibles that bring us the community calendar every week. And of course, continued shout out to Mr. Roma, Aaron Dietrich, as he continues to fight back cancer. I mean, he almost needs to be on this show instead of me at this point, because that's all we do here is we beat the mess out of cancer. I haven't had that experience, but clearly, everybody else, Phil doesn't count. He's guest host. We're
he's too young. He'll get it.
Right. So we'll get Phil out of that, but like you sub him in for me because clearly that's what it takes. Sorry, Phil. That wasn't based on you. I just needed to make the visuals work. That's not on your official count. Give a shout out to our wonderful friends over at the Bandcamp podcast. We're excited to feature them every week here at the end of the show. That is a show perfect for anyone who hates censorship. Bandcamp features the hilarious duo of Jennifer and Dan as hosts. It's a comedy podcast where they read banned books and try to figure out why they were banned in the first place. If you think banning books will lead to a not great future, and it will, then Bandcamp is for you, whether you're like Jennifer, curious to read the book for the first time, or you're like Dan and you like your reading without all that reading. Oh, I forgot to put up the banner, didn't I?
I know. I've been angling.
Waiting.
Sorry.
No,
we're close. Way off.
Oh,
so if you're like Jennifer or the top of Jennifer's head, curious to read books for the first time, or you're like Dan and too lazy to read for yourself, you like your reading without all that pesky reading, you will love Bandcamp. Look for Bandcamp. That's band with 2 N's on your favorite podcast player and subscribe today. Let's all get banned together.
Bingo.
There you go.
Took a while. I look like a yarmulke.
One of these days, we're actually going to have them in. and I'm going to wonder what they think of that.
Can we put them up as a window over us so I can do my shtick? Really, it's the only time ever that my hairline is actually helpful.
Just perfect. It's right there.
Yeah,
right.
It kind of works.
Oh my God. That's it for us. Look, hey, we brought you 3 hours last week. We're cutting down into that by like 30%. We're get you out that much earlier. Let you have a little bit more time to run around the schoolyard before the bell rings. But we will be back next Tuesday at 9:05 with another episode of What's on Joe Mind. So be sure to be here with us. Our special guest might be Phil Donnelly. Who knows? I mean, maybe not. I'm actually.
There's a week's notice.
Right. I'm trying to get an actual guest in, not just fall back on Phil.
Damning with faint praise.
I'm just doing it to get reactions.
It's tough.
But we will be back next Tuesday with another episode of What's on Joe Mind. So be sure to be here with us. As our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. For Racktime Rob, for the honcho Mark Weber, for a special guest host extraordinaire Phil Donnelly, I'm Mike Irizarry. Be sure to join us. Have a great week. And yo, Joe.
Beer.
Ooh, ginger delight. Stinking button. Come on.